afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am jeffgrantMEDIA, and today we're gonna be talking about pouches, and I've got a lot of them, like a lot of them, and this is just a fraction. There's more in my backpack next to me, and there's more upstairs, and there's more at work. So we're gonna break it down with how I use some of these, why I use some of these still, why I stop using some of them, why I use some of them for reasons other than what they're intended for, and let's just get started. And we'll start with our Amazon bags because they're relatively cheap and inexpensive, and that's generally where most people start. Okay, each of these bags was bought on Amazon, and some of these are the BUBM, Be Unique, Be Myself. This one's unbranded. This is TYCKA. I'm sure that's abbreviations for something, but essentially what you will find is all 4 of these will be branded from several different companies in the exact same bag. And these two look almost similar, and they pretty much are the exact same bag. They just internally are organized differently. This is the green one. This is the blue one, which actually has a few things in it. I mean, this has like the sleeve for the battery bank, and you can see I do have a few cables and drives, because this one I kind of use sometimes, but not always. This is kind of like my travel kit, which I haven't been doing any of the past 6 or 7 months, and we all know why. But these come in different closures. These two, both of them, yes, they have this little clip. And as you can see, I tied a little piece of paracord with 2 different extensions. This is for, I used this when I used to travel. I'd put like a little carabiner or an S-hook, and I could hang this off the seat in front of me on like an airplane, and I can get all my battery charger, my cable to charge my phone and everything. There's a extra battery charger for my camera batteries in there, and all this would just kind of hang off the seat in front of me so I can access it. But the reason I don't really use these is, I mean, there's not much in there now, but once you put like a battery bank and some cables in these things, they get super bulky, and because the pockets are all over the place, they're lumpy. They don't even like bulk out uniformly. They're always just super bulky. I mean, when you look at them unused, they look great. They look super thin, slim, and you can shrink them down to the strap is adjustable, so you could zip them down, and they look like they're great bags. But once you start putting stuff in them, they get big, they get bulky, and again, they're lumpy, so they're not really usable. So I don't really use these anymore. And this one is, again, another tech pouch, but I use this. Like paperwork. Don't want to show you the other side because I have my checkbook and bills. I still have a couple of bills that I need to write a check for, so I keep my checkbook in here, and the bills that I need to write every month. And there's also a tool. There's a Leatherman in there because, you know, you always need to have a Leatherman, and since this bag is always on me, it's nice. But because it's so thin, this works out really well to keep paperwork in, and not so much as a tech pouch, because it would kind of turn into one of these, and it just gets bulky and super lumpy. The Amazon electronics organizer that I do use and love, and I think this was like $12, is this TYCKA. I don't know this thing, but this is great. This is pretty slim. This fits in just about any backpack that I've used it in. So far, it has fit in every backpack that I've used it in, no problem. And inside here, I did a little bit of my own organization up top here, but I have a mouse, a lacy 3 terabyte hard drive with the dongle for my MacBook Pro, the charger and cable for my MacBook Pro, and then up top I have some business cards, and then I have the charger for my mouse, the cable to charge my mouse, and then I have 2 USB drives and 4 SD cards, and I kind of did this on my own, which was just take I cut a piece of hook and loop to the length of that pocket, and then I put a little piece on the other side of each of these items so I could stick them on here. So now they're not flopping around, they're all organized, and I actually have space for some more. And each of these things is just attached on there with the hook and loop, and it slides right inside my bag, and that really helps me to organize everything and keep everything that fits in here, because it's not super thick, but it's just thick enough. And the mouse is a new addition to this bag, so with that little bit of organization, I could still close this, and depending upon what bag I use, it will slide down. Here's a Gossamer Gear Jet, Vagabond Jet that I'm currently EDCing, but this will fit right down inside there, no problems. And while we're on Amazon, we'll stick with my dad bag, which is this crossbody sling that I've just kind of tucked the strap down, because I don't use it as a crossbody sling. I just needed something very slim and thin for a dad bag. And this comes in at 8.7 by 6.7 by 2, and it is $9.99. And this is my wipes and diapers bag. Yep, this has diapers and wipes and, well, poo bags just for my dog. I throw them in here because sometimes you're out and about and you don't have a garbage can, and you got a dirty diaper. You don't want to just carry the dirty diaper, so I carry the dog poo bags in here too, so I can throw it in there. And this thing's great. This is a perfect size because I slide this in and out of any bag that I'm using as my dad bag. And going back to the Vagabond Jet, this is goes right in there. The Jet is actually going to be my dad bag, but I'm doing an all-around review, so I'm EDCing it, dad bagging it, and I'm hiking in it, so I'm giving it an all-around test. But ultimately, it's going to be my dad bag. So I have two dad bags. I have a Copaxi Tall and the Vagabond Jet, which are going to be my, depending upon what I'm doing, my dad bags of choice. And this thing fits in both of those bags great. I tuck the strap down, but because it's nice, it's kind of slick on both sides, it slides in and out, it doesn't snag anything. So this is great for me as a dad bag. And again, Amazon pouch, 10 bucks. And if I do want to use it, I just have a cable tie holding the strap together, so I just pop that off and I can throw it in the pocket, and I can just use this as a strap, crossbody strap all on its own. And while we're still on tech pouches, we're gonna go over to this level 8 organizer that I did a review on. Now this thing is nice, it's slim, it has two sides, so there's nice organization. There's a lot of organization inside this bag. It's got a padded sleeve. I believe this is big enough to fit an newer iPad. I only have an older iPad that's kind of big, so my iPad does not fit here, but my Acer tablet does if I take it out of the case. But this thing, I like, it's great. It's a little bit bigger, so if you don't really load this thing up with tech, it can fit quite a bit without being super bulky. But once you put like the power bank for Mac, everything they make is super thin except for the power supply. It is just bulky and chunky and kind of unnecessary. So once you put that in anything, it makes the tech pouch just huge, which is why I like this one, because it's almost just the exact height of the MacBook charger with the power bank, the cord wrapped up and strapped to the top of it. That's why I really love this, because again, it's like almost the exact height. But everything else, like something that, like this level 8 case, that's nice and slim, you put that in here and boom, you're just got a big bulky spot. And then you have this larger bag. So I kind of stopped using this just because it turned out to be a little bit bulky. If I was still working in the office a lot, well, personally, I do work in the office, but if everyone else is still working in the office, I go between buildings and I had a lot of meetings, I probably would have this in my attaché bag that I carry, because I do have to carry, I carry two notebooks. One is, I always have a notebook for myself on me, and then I always have a work notebook. especially my attaché bag, because I got to take notes for projects that I'm working on. So this thing would probably live in there and have like a notebook and probably a battery bank, because I'm always using my phone for something, emails, especially if I'm traveling between buildings. I don't have a computer up at the other building because I use a desktop for work. So I'm always using my phone to check my email, reply, call people. So I'm always using my phone, especially if I'm working up the other building. If I'm filming up in the other building while I'm up there for the meeting, I'm using the gimbal. Sometimes I use the GoPro or the LumaCube. So all of that uses cell phone too, runs the battery down. So I carry like a battery bank I would carry in here. I'd have a notebook in here. I'd have whatever I would need for the day, cables to charge said phone from said battery bank. And this thing's, it's great. It's pretty nice. I think this one is no longer made and they make a slightly bigger version now. But the specs on this level 8 case is 8 3/4 by 12.5 by 1.3 inches, and it is $24.99. I did use that a lot when I first got it, but again, it became a little too bulky once I started using the MacBook charger, and that's where this thing came in super, super handy. Since we were just talking about battery banks, this is the Lowpro Gearup Wrap. I got this from B&H, and it's about 7.5 by a little over 4 inches, and I think it's $21.99. And this thing's great because this fits almost perfectly my battery bank right in that pocket there. This is an older Shark. It's heavy, it's bulky, but it's really, really good. Like, I never have to charge this thing up, and it's always got juice. Let me see if I turn it on. Yeah, this has, probably not gonna be able to see it, but it has 4 lights, and I have used this twice since I've charged it, and it's been sitting in my my Greenroom136 Metro runner for a while because I haven't had to charge my phone up because I'm not really going anywhere. But this thing's perfect. I have a USB cable for my hard drive. I have an iPhone charger cable. I also have the headphone dongle adapter for my iPhone because it doesn't have the 1/4 inch jack for the headphones. You have to use the lightning to 1/4 inch. And then there's an additional iPhone charger cable because when me and my wife are traveling together, we often have to charge our phones, and this will charge 2 phones. But this thing is perfect. Perfect. It houses just what I need, and it's so small, and you would think that maybe the side would get caught sliding in and out of bags, but it doesn't. This thing is great. This goes with me just about everywhere I go. It's great. It holds exactly what I need: the battery bank, the charging cables, and the dongle, because I mean, if I have this with me, it means I have my phone with me. So if I do need headphones, I have exactly what I need if I'm not using my Bluetooth headphones. Because I do have Bluetooth headphones. Don't really like them because they always seem to die when you need them the most. So I almost always have a pair of regular corded headphones with me. So now I can use them. And this thing is great. It will slide in and out of every bag. I mean, I can just dump it in the jet. I mean, there's a lot of room in here right now. So it slides in there, no problem. It fits perfectly inside the Greenroom136 Metro runner, which is a small bag. I think that's what, like 4 liters, something like that. So yeah, it's this is great. This, I highly recommend the Lowpro Gearup Wrap. I love this thing. I've been using this for quite a while. This fits in my camera bags, in my backpacks, in my sling. Everywhere I go, this goes with me. Staying with tech bags, I have a couple of these Think Takes. I have the 10 and the 20. This is the 20. It's a little bit bigger. I mean, I put a journal in there so you can kind of get an idea of how big it is. And I use these for all sorts of odds and ends. I use this usually for, I have the 10, which is a little bit smaller. It holds a lavalier mic pack pretty perfectly, and it fits perfect inside my Lowpro camera bag. I've got a little section, and it was just the perfect size for it. Seen here inside my camera bag, this is the Think Take Cable Management Pouch 10, which measures 7.5 by 3.8 by 2.3, and it runs $19.75 at B&H. Also, I have the Think Take 20, which is 7 by 7 by 3/4 of an inch, and that runs $24.75. And that's this one here. This is the 20. It's a little bit bigger. I have had all sorts of things in here. I mean, I have the lav in here. But the thing I love most to hold lavalier mics is generally something that's like free with a microphone. Seen here inside my other camera bag, this is just an Audio-Technica microphone bag. It came with the microphone. I have a bunch of them from Shure microphones. They're all roughly the same size. These fit lavalier mics perfectly. So if you need to throw your lavs inside a camera bag, you just want to keep that and all the cables together, these are a perfect thing for it. I absolutely love them. You can get them on Amazon. There's a link below. They're like 10 bucks on Amazon. So go ahead and grab one of those. Also is this Tenba bag here. This is a double-sided, so you actually have, if I can find the zippers, this side has your elastic loops, and then this side is just your case. So this would also work really, really well for something like a lav mic. You can put any accessory cables, especially if you're shooting like on a cell phone and you need to have the adapters. You can put any of that stuff here. I've used this for, I tried this for like my tech pouch for a little while, but it was a little bulky the way I had it loaded out. I found it didn't work quite as well because this side, it just wasn't thick enough for everything I had to put in. So I felt like if you put enough stuff on one side, it would take up the space on the other and push it out. So I didn't really like the use of this for like this pouch. So I've used this for lavalier mics, but I like to try other things. That's why I got a couple of these Tenba pouches, and I went over to the Tenba for like the lav mic. But this generally actually does go in my camera bag. I had my Luma cubes in this before I brought it home, but I had them all charging, so I just had the bag empty. So I've been keeping the Luma cubes in here with like 2 extra cables to charge them. I throw the cubes on one side, the cables on the other. So it's not really packed out or loaded, but they were all charging when I left the office today, so I figured I would just bring the bag because it's easier to show you the bag if it's not full of crap. So those are like my tech pouches that I use for all sorts of stuff. And then we have my non-tech pouches that I kind of use for tech. This is actually my Greenroom136 Pocketbook Deluxe that comes in at 6.8 by 3.7 by 6, and it runs $34. So this is actually like a wallet, but I keep, of course I took them all out of here. I don't know why I did that. I keep a power bank in here with a cable for charging, and I keep a bunch of business cards in here, and I also normally would keep some SD cards in here, but I just took the SD cards out of here because I was testing a new camera bag and it was very small and very crappy. So I had these tiny, tiny little pockets that would fit nothing else but SD cards. So my SD cards are actually sitting in those little pockets. That's probably what I did with the business cards. I think I took everything out. I didn't really need the battery bank because I hated the bag so much that I didn't really use it. But this normally is full with SD cards, battery bank, and business cards. And this goes in my camera bag because I have my other battery bank is in all my other EDC bags. So I always like to keep one in my camera bag as well, because sometimes when you're gearing up for the day and you're putting all your camera gear in a pile, you forget to go grab the battery bank out of your EDC. So I always, and I recommend you always keep a second battery bank in your camera bag, because even if you have 2 battery banks, you can't go wrong if you're filming, because everything uses a USB charger these days, so you can recharge all of your camera gear from 1 or 2 battery banks. So it doesn't hurt to have extras laying around. Sticking with the Greenroom136, we have the Ronin Sparrow that comes in at 3.9 by 6.2 by 1.5 inches, and this is $36. Now this is one of their newer offerings. This is great because it has the little belt loop, and it also has hook and loop, so you can put it around the shoulder strap of one of their messenger bags like the Junk Monkey or the Bootstrap or the Metro Manga or the Metro Runner. And inside here, I'm not currently using it because I pretty much put everything that was in here is now inside my Metro Runner, but this is great. This will actually fit, that battery bank's too tall. This will actually fit a battery bank very, very well. So this is great. You can put your battery bank in here. This is great for like if you're carrying a smaller sling. This is awesome from the strap because then you could put your phone in here. You could put your wallet in here, especially if it's summer and you have shorts that don't have pockets. Like if you're going to the beach or something and you need to easily and quickly access your phone or your wallet, this is great because you can strap it. You can, I mean, I actually had it strapped upside down because that way it opens away from the body. It does give a tendency for things to fall out, so you just have to make sure you compensate for that. But if you have it strapped up this way, it's harder to see inside it, so I actually put it upside down. So when I opened it, I'd have my cell phone in here, and it wasn't too bad. It never fell, but you just have to be aware of it. But it was great. I had it on the strap of my Junk Monkey and also my Metro Monger I was using for a while, and I put everything in here that I can just grab real quick, so I didn't have to sling the bag around, open up the bag with my other stuff inside. I could just zip, get my phone out, because you don't even have to totally unzip it. I mean, you just kind of had to, once you get used to it, I mean, you just kind of unzip it a little bit, you can get your phone out, put your phone back in, zip it back up, good to go. So this thing was great. And I've used a lot of Greenroom products. If you've seen this channel, you're aware of that. I love Greenroom stuff. It's really, really great. Everything is well thought out. So you can't really go wrong with it. I haven't tried any of their other small pouches, but I'd really, really, really like to. Now, we're gonna move away from tech and get into random pouches. So I have some of these Riveted Oak Design pouches, which are really, really nice. They fit in all sorts of locations, and they come in a bunch of different sizes. This one's like a little pouch here, and then I have this lay flat one. You'll notice coming up now I'm gonna have a lot of pouches of this style, and I really like it. This one I just took everything out of because I had like an extra t-shirt rolled up in here and an extra buff and stuff. But we're moving into winter mode, so I'm going to, I gotta dig out my skull cap, so I'll probably stick a skull cap in here, and I threw that buff in the wash because it's been a while, so it can use a cleaning. So this is empty, but this will be the bag that I kind of keep in every single backpack that I use, and it'll have the extras because I'm wearing a more baseball style hat today, but maybe I get cold because I'm out long and I want to throw a Scully on, so then I have my Scully always in here with me, and the extra buff, which is good for the winter because it covers your neck. I used to wear them pre-COVID. So this is great. I like the, it's just the smaller one. I'll give you all the dimensions for this in a minute, but this is the smaller one. The zippers and everything are nice. These are Riveted Oak Designs. It's kind of a small cottage company. They don't have a whole lot of offerings, but what they have are really nice. And then this nice lay flat one has, I got a journal in here, I got a Sudoku book in here, and I got some photographs of my daughter in here. So when I'm out and about, if I want to go old school and look at some photos of my daughter, I got them in here. And unfortunately, not all of these products are still available on their site, but the 3 pouches that I have had for 6 or 8 months now, maybe. And yeah, I got them pre-lockdown, so I've had them quite a while. I've used them quite a bit. And I mean, they're inside a bag, so they're not really too worn or dirty. But yeah, I've used them a lot. They've been in and out of a lot of different bags, and they're holding up pretty good. And this style pouch, I really like because I have a bunch of these like no-name things that are almost the same thing. I've got a bunch of these. These are great for paperwork, for journals, for tablets. You can slide them in there with a pen. I love them because, again, I'm an analog person. I use paper a lot. I have a lot of tablets. So things like this, I keep a lot of journals. They're great. You can throw the journal in here because sometimes I'm writing on another piece of paper and then I'm like putting it into the journal, so sometimes paper's falling out, and then I throw a pen together in there. Sometimes I have 2 journals because I like the journals I like. They're kind of thin. When you fill them up or getting close to filling up, I get a second one, so I carry the backup with it. So sometimes I have 2 in there, or sometimes, you know, I've got a Sudoku book in there with my journal and some photographs. So I like these because they can go in just about any bag. They actually slide really well into like the laptop compartment of a bag. They'll go right in there if you're not using a laptop. They're great. And these are, I didn't get these on Amazon. I don't even know where I got these from. I've had them forever. I've been using these for years. but they're a little bit bigger than the Riveted Oaks one, but they're great. Any pouch like this I absolutely love. They're just perfect for a lot of different things. And there's a lot of bags that actually have very limited space in certain pockets, like my Wander Prevoke has a large pocket on the front, but it's thin, it's narrow. So something like this was great. I put things in here, it's organized, I could slide it in and out, and I was actually able, I used to use both of these. That's why one's got a black sticker, one's got a red sticker. It was so I knew what was in each bag, so I can kind of look in there, I could see which one I need, the one that looked all black, the one that had a little red dot on it. I knew what was in each bag. It was great for me for that bag. And there's a lot of backpacks that are like that. So now we're into kind of stuff like that, the bags that are just things that you have from other things. This is nothing in here right now, but this is the hip pouch for my Lowpro camera bag. I wasn't using it. I've used this for odds and ends, for little bits, tidbits in here. This usually lives inside my camera bag for things that you either need, or sometimes when you're trying to wrap your bag up quick, you're ending the shoot, or you're getting kicked out of a spot because you're doing a guerrilla run and gun kind of shoot. These are great. I usually leave this inside my camera bag because I can just throw stuff in here so it's not bouncing around, scratching up my camera, scratching up lenses, banging on things. So this is great. I don't use the hip pouch, but I use the pocket from the hip pouch. I can throw this right inside the camera bag, and it's good to throw odds and ends in. Then you have all these little bags that come with everything. I use these for like cables a lot, even just at home. I'll throw the cables in there, and then I'll hang this on a piece of pegboard, and you can either label the pegboard or try to remember what's in there. But these are usually stuff that I just keep like little cables in. This was the stuff pouch for my Spivo packable bag. I didn't like the way that this was attached to what this kind of was just useless when it was in the bag, and the bag actually folds inside its own pocket really well. So I just cut this out, and it's just another little stuff pouch I have laying around, use it for whatever I need. This was for my Sure 3T35K tabletop tripod. It's a little narrower and maybe a little bit longer than like those microphone pouches, but something like this is just, it's great for a lot of things. Like this would be great for like throwing pens and pencils. Like if you're an artist, you can throw all your pens, pencils in there. I mean, I don't think I've used this specifically for anything yet, but it's just one of those freebies that came with something that you have laying around. Don't throw it out, because the second you do, you will find a use for it. Now, a few other things that I usually carry. There's another random lay flat pouch. This has a journal for work in it. That's why the red one is for work. This just has an extra journal, some pens in there. And these are super common. You find these a lot with like bug out gear. Maxpedition makes a lot, and this is just a knockoff from Amazon. And this is just a little pocket kit. I keep some tools in here. I get a lighter. There's a Swiss Army knife in one side. There's a Leatherman in the other. There's a Write in the Rain notebook. There's a flint and steel. There's a Sharpie. There's a pencil. It's great. It's just like a little tool bag. It will go through Molly. You can attach it to Molly. I keep a little cheap carabiner. I can just clip this to a bag. I just throw this at the bottom of my backpack. You never know when you're gonna need a Leatherman. So why not keep a couple on you? So this great little pouch, and this is just a fraction of what I have. I've got so many pouches that I use, don't use, stuff that I thought would be great and then ended up finding out it was junk. And yes, a lot of these are cheap pouches from Amazon or stuff that came free with something else. But there are a lot of nice companies out there. There's one called D-Made Bags, which I'm really interested in trying some of their stuff. I'm not sure if it's gonna be what I want, so I actually ordered some similar stuff, like e-packet from China on eBay. It was like $2.50 a pouch. So I just bought like one of each color. I probably won't have them for a month or two, but it's a very similar style, so I wanna see if the style works for me. If it does, I'll invest in the D-Made bags, because I'd rather do like a cottage company than like just these cheap bags. Because yeah, I do have a couple of these, like these Riveted Designs bags. They're not crazy expensive, they're not gonna break the bank, but they're a little more expensive than some of this junk from Amazon. And there are really well-made bags, and they've lasted me really, you know, the past 6 to 8 months with little to no wear on them. Yeah, some of these Amazon bags I've been using for years and they have not much wear on them either, but I'd rather support the cottage company than the bag that has the same exact bag and branded from 30 different companies. So I mean, I'd rather support a smaller company than just a massive factory that's just slapping a label on things. But yeah, I got a lot of random bags from things laying around. You know, my packable bags that's got totes for the city. I've got my pack with masks, extra masks and stuff in it. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff. It's easy to organize when you have a lot of different pouches, and color coding for things is it's key. It helps if you don't have a bag that's a different color. If you can just slap like a piece of gaff tape on there that's bright red, it's easy to tell at a glance what's inside each bag. So I hope this helped a little bit. Hope it wasn't too confusing. If you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell so you get notifications next time I post a brand new video. Good night.